welcome to Rhythm and Roads podcast. I'm your host, Joshua Jacob. We have a very special guest. We have Ziggy. He's a writer, director, and actor, and he actually has a film coming out saying, "Who's Afraid?" Well, who's afraid, right?
Yes. Who's
Yeah,
afraid?
who's afraid? Are you afraid?
No, I'm not afraid. I'm feeling good.
All
I
right,
had an early
bro. Let's
morning,
go.
Josh.
Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to seeing the film. It's coming out this year at the film festival, right?
Yep. It's coming out at the Las Cruces International Film Festival. We This is our first submission into the film festival, but and
Oh,
our
it's your
first
first. Nice.
yeah, and our first acceptance. But we've been
Congrats.
the crew that helped me make it. I wrote it, I directed, but the crew who helped me make it, we go by Pocket Knife, which was a sort of a banner that my friend Bardo he started, and it's what he like kind of runs his business under. But we kind of,
It's called
you
Pocket
know,
Knife.
Pocket Knife Productions.
Oh, that's
Yeah, that's
cool.
what we call ourselves. We're not, a lot. We're not really like an official banner, but we like to, it's fun to. We always talk about like, it's gonna be fun in 10 years when we look back and we're like, the stuff we made under Pocket Knife, that was the cool stuff. That was the, you know.
Right. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
these great moments you guys are creating under that title and to look back,
exactly.
like you said, and just be like, remember Pocket Knife? Yeah, look
Yeah,
at one right
yeah,
here too.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
That's funny, bro.
So yeah.
All right, man. Well, let's get started on your journey as a filmmaker. Being in the whole acting.
hmm
I always inspired by the filmmakers and the actors' stories of how they got started. So, I guess, who or what inspired you to want to
Uh,
become an actor or filmmaker?
well, I knew I was. I've always known I was going to be a creative. Day one, I knew I was gonna. As a kid, I was super obsessed with animation. I
Oh,
was always
really?
watching Looney Tunes. I was always trying to do voices.
Oh,
In my
really?
Yeah, I would watch documentaries about voice actors at like
Oh,
10
wow.
because I loved the idea of all these characters, these people like what's the name? The guy who plays Bugs Bunny. I forget his name right now, but how he played, every single Looney Tune male character, and then he went on to The Simpsons and he did like
Oh,
50
wow.
voices for The Simpsons. I love that stuff. So at first when I was growing up, I was like, I want to be an animator. I want to draw. I want to do all this stuff. But then I realized I don't have the patience to draw. I am not the person to
Yeah.
be honing that particular skill. Um, but I did love writing. I would always tell stories, and my family, like, that was like the thing that made me start to produce like images in my head was, my tios and my dad would be sitting around the dinner table after like a party, 3 a.m. They just made another cup of coffee, and then they start telling their stories from Mexico, or stuff like that. And I just, sit there as a kid listening and just vision it in my head as a movie. So growing up, I always had these vivid, images in my head, and I knew I wanted to get them out. So when I was in high school and stuff, I was horrible at school. And I was homeschooled for a little bit of my high school experience, and I realized like I just don't want to do that.
Mm.
So I dropped out, got my GED, and immediately went into college and started learning how to make movies because
Wow. Good for
I was
you, man.
17. Yeah, I was 17 when I first started like really chasing it. I started going to DACC here in Las Cruces, New
Oh,
Mexico.
sweet. Heck yeah.
And I like dropped out of college, immediately started taking their film classes, and it was mostly just so I could get equipment, which I don't tell anybody this, but at 17, I legally wasn't allowed to be checking equipment out by myself, but no one knew no one knew I was 17, so I just wouldn't mention that part.
Oh, dude, risk
And
taker. Look at that, bro, man.
so I would go and check the equipment out, and I would always do it on the weekends because I was like, oh, if I do it on the week, if I do it during the week, I get it for one day, but if I do it on the weekend, I get to keep it the whole weekend. I get to experiment. So that's how I kind of got started. I would, at 17, I was at college and I was just checking the equipment out, meeting the people who I still work with now and help me shoot my movie.
Nice,
uh,
nice.
and yeah, the first real official uh, credit I have that I ever got on was at 17 as a camera assistant doing the slate on a commercial for Donna Ana Community College, and
Oh,
that's how I got
really?
started.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Nice. So you're saying Looney Tunes and the whole animation was the start of your love for the passion of filmmaking or
That
starting all that?
absolutely.
Yeah.
That and another reason I say animation is because my me and my grandpa used to watch Clash of the Titans together.
Oh,
And
dude.
the original like
Oh, the
60s,
original. Oh,
the
okay.
50s, 60s version.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I was
And
thinking of,
it
okay.
has these amazing like sequences where it would show the monsters and they'd be hand animated claymation.
Mm.
And I remember seeing that as a kid and being like, that's what I want to do. I want to make monsters come to life. I want to make these fantasies come to life. And I
Mm.
would sit there with my grandpa and he would, he was that guy too. He would also tell me stories. So I had this, double intake of like my grandpa, who was a World War II veteran, Bronze Star, Purple Heart recipient, who has all these crazy stories.
Wow.
And then we'd
Good
sit
for your
there and
grandpa, man.
we'd watch westerns and we'd watch Clash of the Titans. He loved fantasy the most, and
Yeah.
we'd watch war movies, and he'd sit there and he'd tell me his stories, and we'd watch these movies together, and that's how I got my love of like storytelling and
Nice,
uh,
dude.
that visual, I guess, language in my head. Like I just understood it from a very young age because I had the oral stories and I had these visual stories always in front of me, just
Yeah.
constantly wanting me to produce stories. So
Oh, man, dude. Interesting. So your point from the start of graduating because you went to NMSU, right? Or
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I went straight into DACC, then got my associates there, and graduated from NMSU with a
Heck
bachelor's
yeah,
degree.
bro. Go Aggies.
Go Aggies, yeah.
Yeah. The CMI program is pretty cool. I've went to go check it out.
Yeah, it is. It's what's really cool too. Is the community college just got their big, studio, the film studio put it in. I go there.
Oh,
I visited a couple times, and I was like, man, if I had this when I was,
yeah.
17, stealing equipment, they would have never gotten me out of here. I would have been, I'd still be there.
Uh, let's get into your film.
Mhm.
Who's Afraid? Congratulations, by the way, as your first film making it to the Las Cruces International Film Festival. That is so exciting.
I know.
Oh
It's
man, the
cool.
feeling of just knowing your first film that you did and it's accepted. That's really cool, man.
Yeah. What's cool too is shout out to Ian Cole.
Yeah,
You
dude.
interviewed her.
Yeah.
We're gonna be presenting our films at the same theater at the same showcase. So
Oh, really? Okay.
yeah. So
Heck yeah.
the itinerary has us in the same like showcase. So I'm excited. It's gonna be this whole crew of people who worked on both films
Oh,
because my
dude.
cinematographer was the cinematographer on her film,
Okay.
and I helped him, do grip and gaff and set up lights and stuff. And then he came and he did my film. So
Cool, dude.
it's a nice little family
Yeah,
watching
dude.
the two movies we made back to back. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, and I'll definitely be there. I'll be there on the 11th and the 12th.
hmm
Definitely see your film. I know her films, I think, starts at 5:30 for
Yeah,
one
we're gonna be in that same block. So at 5:30, if you get there, you'll be able to catch Ian's film. We'll
the
be able to
first
catch
one.
our film and a couple other great films from people in town.
Nice, man. Let's get into the story behind Who's Afraid and see what this whole project of yours is about.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, it came about very quickly. Uh, me and my, uh, me and my friend Bardo, we try to do like writing rooms every week,
Okay.
where we just get together, we meet with, whoever is available that week, our friends, and
Yeah.
we just bounce ideas off each other. We tell each other what's good, what's dumb, what to keep, what to cut.
Yeah.
We'll read drafts to each other. And one of these days, we were just sitting around and we had like, videos up on our YouTube, and one of these videos came up and it was about this painting, Who's Afraid of Red, Yellow, and Blue. It's a series of paintings, real life paintings. They're modern art. And a lot of people have, issue with modern art. They don't like how some people can perceive it as like, kind of a lazy thing to do. Like the painting I made a whole movie about is literally about a block of red. It's a 12 by 7 foot canvas of red and
Really?
two little stripes of yellow and blue on either side. Uh,
Hmm.
so this artist, he was a very prolific artist for doing these color block paintings, and people hated them for that reason. They thought they were lazy. They thought they meant nothing. So he produced this whole series called "Who's Afraid of Red, Yellow, and Blue" to kind of make fun of
What?
these people. To kind of say like, why are you so afraid of these
Yeah.
colors? They if they don't mean anything to you, why do they
Right.
bring such anger out of you? So who's afraid of red, yellow, and blue? And the story of it is that he made this and it provoked someone so badly that they showed up in the 80s in Amsterdam with a box cutter and they destroyed his biggest piece, red, yellow, and blue 4.
What?
Because he
What?
was so mad about it.
Oh my God.
Um, so he does this. He's arrested. A couple years go by. In the 2000s, they decide to restore this painting and put it back up.
Wow.
So the person they got to restore it did a horrible job. They repainted it with the roller pin. The
Oh,
original painter used, he hand painted it, and it looks like you can't even see the brushstrokes. It's really like a testament to his skill, like that he's able to create such a large painting and you don't see any of the brushstrokes.
right.
But this guy, the guy who restored it, he put a paint roller over it and he laminated it. The original was not laminated. So the guy who destroyed it in the 80s, he
Uh,
calls this museum up and he goes, "You've done such a horrible job restoring this painting that if you put it up for display again, I'll go back there and I'll destroy it again."
what? He'll
So
go
at
back
some
and destroy his own work.
so at some point he must have understood what this painting meant.
Dang.
He must have,
Yeah.
the guy who destroyed it, he must have understood because he wanted to go back and destroy it because they didn't restore it well enough. He
Wow.
was like, "This isn't the painting that made me so angry.
Right.
If you put this painting back up, I'll destroy it again." So I wanted to make a film that showed the moment he got it, the moment he destroyed the painting and he was like, "Oh my God, I get it." You know?
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Interesting,
so,
man.
so that was the whole thesis behind the film was this kind of like, showing the anger that this person has towards just this painting and kind of framing it and putting it entirely in their perspective, never leaving his perspective, never giving us any sort of indication of why he's so angry, even
Yeah.
just showing that this guy is mad and the object of his anger is this art piece. And yeah, that was the whole. We watched that video about that guy. We learned that story, and I literally within the hour I sat there and I typed it and I was like, "What do you think of this?" And he read it and he was like, "We dude, we got to make this. This is
Dang,
this
dude.
is this
Yeah.
is first draft already. We got it." I didn't touch it again. That first draft is the draft we used throughout the whole production,
Okay.
and it has barely any dialogue. The whole film is basically visuals.
Oh, is it?
So
Okay.
there's one line of dialogue,
Oh, there
and
is. Just
and it's
one.
in there's one line of dialogue. It's at the very end, and it's in Dutch.
The Dutch?
Yeah. And
Oh,
luckily, the
man.
guy we cast, he had a grandfather who speaks Dutch, which was one of the big reasons that I cast him. And he was just perfect for the role. I had seen him in other things. Uh, and shout out Thomas. He's an amazing actor. He's a good friend too. And he he knew Dutch. Just I had wanted to cast him already because I knew his face was amazing. Then when I learned that he was Dutch, I was like, okay, he's the guy. Get him, let's get him.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, so yeah, that was fun. Like creating this fully visual experience that the only line in it is in Dutch. So it's like even if you're an American watching this film, it's basically all silent. So
Oh my God. That's gonna be cool to check out, man. And then,
yeah.
interesting story. So I mean, if you don't mind me asking, I don't know if you already told me, but is this like based on a true story from something
Yeah,
in the 80s,
it's
right?
yeah, in the 80s is based on a true
Um,
story, based on the real destruction of this painting. And there's been a couple like films kind of talking about it. They've never shown, as far as I know, they've never shown the destruction of this painting.
okay.
And I guess the whole point of I wanted to make with it is like I said, like at the beginning, like people kind of view modern art as this like controversial thing. They view it as like, it can go either, you're trying to make a point and be provocative, or you're saying nothing really at all.
Right.
And I guess the whole point was to make a film that makes you react the way you would at a modern art piece like that. You could watch it, and if you're not really trying to pick up on subtext, if you're not trying to analyze it deeply or try to pick up on the symbolism I put in there,
Yeah.
you're kind of like, what was the point of this? Why did you show me this? But if you are like kind of someone who's a fan of subtext, if you're a fan, not subtext, I guess everyone's a fan of subtext, but if you're a fan of, modern art and stuff that kind of hides its meaning
Yeah.
underneath, I feel like there's plenty to dig your teeth into and to kind of
Oh, I
try to
bet.
figure out what the motivations behind this guy were, even if he says nothing throughout the whole thing. It's
Right.
just with visuals. So,
Interesting, man. And what was the actual artist's name again? The one that's from the 80s?
let me look. I have my
If
phone.
you don't
Let
have
me.
it, it's okay. I just don't.
What's his name? I'll find it because I do want to
That's
say
an
his name.
interesting story to know about, like to read about that. Interesting. Wow, I didn't even think
Yeah.
that someone would actually go out there with a box cutter and just do all that to a red
I know his name is Barnett Newman. That's the name of the
Barnett
original
Newman? Okay.
Newman. Yeah, he's the name of the guy who originally made the painting.
Interesting.
And he has a whole series of these paintings. There's I think five of the Who's Afraid series, and then he has a whole bunch that are different colors and different
Wow.
sizes. But what's awesome about these paintings is if you, I want to see one in real life one day because I've never seen this painting in real life. We tried to recreate it as best we could for the film. We
Oh,
made
you did? Yeah.
yeah, we made a real painting.
That's cool.
And we actually kind of made it the way the guy who restored the original painting made it with paint rollers and stuff.
Oh, really? Okay.
So, like, you know, it's kind of appropriate that he comes in and destroys this version because it's an inferior version. But, uh,
Interesting. Man. That's
but
gonna be cool to check out. I mean, knowing that it's also inspired by a true story from the 80s. So,
yeah, and that was a big thing was trying to, I wanted to shoot it. Um, I wanted to shoot it in the style of like these 80s directors that I really love.
mm,
Um, and kind of capture this old school look to it, almost like you're watching like a museum tape, like almost like you're watching something that a museum would put on to tell the story of this
right.
happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, but also with like the language of people like Terry Gilliam and like people like these Italian directors who made like classic horror films like Suspiria
Mm,
and Dark Red. Dario Argento is a big influence on me.
okay.
So I wanted to make it almost like you're watching, that classic Italian trope of like the gloved killer with the knife, and you see his, all you
Yeah.
ever see is just the silhouette, and he's wearing a trench coat, and
Oh,
when he
right,
pulls
right.
the knife out, finally we get the nice shot of like, he brings it up,
Right, brings it up.
yeah. So I wanted to just have this feeling of that, like, oh, we're almost watching like a slasher killer go for his
Right.
victim almost.
Is that what you're more into? Is like kind of like horror, crime,
Um,
mystery,
I
mystery stuff?
I'm an eclectic person. I love all types of movies. I guess
Cool.
my biggest uh my I guess yeah the most I watch is horror, but I
Yeah. Okay.
love I love all genres. Like I said, my favorite one of my favorite directors is this guy named Terry Gilliam. He directed Time Bandits from the 80s. I don't know if you've ever
Oh,
seen that.
no, I've never seen it.
But he was part of Monty Python. Uh,
Oh, was he? Okay, so that
yeah,
was
if
okay.
you've ever seen Monty Python and the Holy Grail, he's the
Mhm.
guy who follows behind the whole time and he claps the coconuts.
Oh, is that is that him? Okay.
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah, I have seen the movie.
And he moved
It's
on and he
funny,
started
man.
making like these kind of independent films
Yeah.
for in Britain. I mean, independent. A lot of people like Time Bandits was like one of these movies I grew up on as a kid.
Mhm.
Because it's like a very whimsical movie. But he has this very like intense visual style. I'll call it like he loves to use really wide lenses and he loves to yeah, he made Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. That's
Oh, he
his big
did. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I've
you know
seen a
that
couple of them.
he like has to have those wide lenses and he
Wide
puts them
lens.
right in people's face and you can see like the pores of sweat on like and the just all the nastiness on people's
Yeah.
faces and I love that style. I love British film. I love like that type of like putting you right in the face of your
Yeah.
actor and you just get to
Mhm.
see all the flaws and the pores in their face and the sweat dripping down the in the when you put it like that it's hard not to feel the anxiety of someone
Right.
when
Yeah.
you when you're right in their face so
That's and I've never seen any of his work. I mean, I mean, he didn't do Monty Python, right? He didn't direct that. You're just talking about the actor.
he did what he did do was the art for it so
Oh, the
that
art.
classic
Okay.
the classic Monty Python art
Yeah.
with he would
Yeah.
draw he did that
Okay. Okay.
so he's pretty, I love Terry Gilliam because he's pretty prolific, but if you have never looked into his career, you never be like, oh, he's had that many fingers and that many things.
Right.
So,
Interesting. All right, man. Well,
yeah.
thanks for sharing that interesting story of your film. I
Yeah.
was afraid. I see. I didn't had no clue it was going to be about that, and I'm just like, wow. Now I'm really interested in seeing it, knowing it's inspired by the '80s.
Yeah,
So, do you have
definitely.
any other projects coming up in the works in the future?
Yeah, so me and my friend Bardo at Pocket Knife, he just got done directing a short film that he wrote
Cool.
and we shot kind of run and gun. It was very fun. I've been posting about it a lot on my Instagram and stuff, but it's called Andes. It takes place in this like near future world that he created, and we've been kind of working together to flesh out. But
Okay.
it's basically it tells the story of this service robot. He's basically like a waiter, uh, and it takes all from first person, and we basically get to see this waiter's day. We
Really?
get to see
Okay.
how people treat, you know, a service worker if there's no person behind it, and how like cruel people can be to a, you know, someone who's doing their job, and we get to see it all from this first person.
Wow.
And it's going to be sort of like a music video narrative.
Oh, it
So
is? Oh, that's cool.
yeah, so it's gonna be mostly, you know, not a lot. There's not dialogue. We shot it all on a GoPro,
Oh,
and we
really? On
didn't
a
bring.
GoPro? Heck yeah.
Yeah, it was a GoPro strapped to someone's head,
I've used
and
GoPro. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
yeah, and we intentionally used like a older GoPro. We didn't want to use the newest version
Oh,
because we
okay.
wanted the footage to look kind of grainy and messed up.
Ah, okay.
And we and he 3D printed these robot arms that they beautifully weathered and painted to make them look real. And
Wow,
that's
man.
the only part of the robot we ever really see. So the robot arms is the part of the robot we see the whole time, and they're practical, real arms.
Wow.
And there's like one or two shots where it looks into the like to a mirror, and he's gonna digitally take out the human head because
All right. Wow.
we built a foam body for the robot as well.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, well, we go all out. We like to. We built for my film. We built a full real painting. For his film, we built a fake robot. So,
All right.
yeah.
When do you see this film coming out?
He's working on it right now. It's gonna be something we're gonna have. He wants to just release it, have it be out there. So we're not
Oh,
putting it
okay.
into short films or anything. It's kind of
Just to
we
be out.
want he wants to release it as like a proof of concept for this world we're making, and
Okay.
it's sort of something we're gonna be continuing making films in, and
Nice.
like have it be this sort of connected universe we want to create with our short films and stories. So
That's cool, dude. Well, I'm glad you have a
yeah,
good circle of friends that are so inspired by just creating films, shorts, music videos. I mean, it's always good to
yeah,
surround yourself with people like that. I have a close friend of mine. He's a filmmaker out here in El Paso, and him and I just love going out every now and then just shooting shorts. I
dude,
mean,
it's fun.
not even long, maybe like 2 minutes, just shoot some scenes, you know?
Exactly. That's why on my Instagram I've started to post like little reels and stuff, like kind of
Yeah,
talking about
man.
filmmaking and
Good
talking
for
about
you.
the process and kind of making it funny too. And those are fun because
Yeah.
I've set like a limit for myself on those. I treat them. It's funny because they come out so goofy and unserious, but
Yeah.
when I'm making them, I treat it so serious. It's so dumb. Like I really do treat it like I am writing this and I am producing this and I am acting in it and it is going to be a real product.
There you go.
And I have my friend Bardo direct me when I do it because I shot the first one by myself and I was like, I don't like my energy. I am not coming off the way I want to.
Mm.
And the first day he helped me do it, it was funny because his biggest note was Siggy wouldn't say it like that. Siggy needs you're not
Right.
saying it like Siggy. And I'm like, but I'm Siggy. How do I say it more like Siggy?
How do I say it like me? I want to say it like me. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's what's fun is uh we treat it almost as like a 48-hour challenge, almost
Oh,
like a
yeah,
48-hour
man.
film challenge. And I limit myself in the script to 250 words.
Okay.
I'm not allowed to go over a minute long.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
I do really like make it a serious challenge for myself as like a creative person because I don't want people to see these like, you know, kind of content, you know, I don't like that word content.
Okay.
I want them to be legitimately like these little pieces of uh I don't know that add to my directorial whatever, you know.
Yeah.
I want them to actually be something you can see and like, oh man, this guy put some effort into it, even if it is kind of dumb, if it is kind of silly.
Yeah, at least
He took
yeah.
it serious
Yeah,
making
he took it
it.
serious. He put some kind of effort in this, even if it was like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting, man. Well, I do want to get before we close on the podcast, I do want to get to know you a bit on your because every filmmaker has their inspiration of a certain movie, and I think you already
Mhm.
brought out a certain movie, but do you have anything else that you might, want to share of who or what,
Ooh.
filmmaker of movie inspired you?
Big big influence on me is John Carpenter.
Oh,
John
yeah.
Carpenter is my soul, I guess. Like he all of his movies I love. I grew up on The Thing, which is
The
kind of
thing,
funny to
yeah.
say. But The Thing was the first movie I ever watched that made me realize, like, oh, people make movies. There was a person behind this, and there was hands that made these things.
Right.
And I think the first time I ever watched that and Halloween, figuring out how they made Halloween on a shoestring budget, that was really like,
Wow.
oh, I can make movies. I can make movies. Like
Yeah.
I don't need a whole studio system behind me. All I need is my friends, a dude with,
Yep.
you know, a camera,
That's
and
right.
I'm ready to
Sometimes it's
go.
just the basics. Yeah.
Yeah, John Carpenter, he's a big one. And I aspire to be like John Carpenter when I'm older now, because he just every interview I see John Carpenter in, he's just like, I don't know if I'll ever make a movie again, but I'm playing a lot of video games. And I love that. I want to be like him.
There you go.
Anytime.
That's cool. He's like, yeah, I don't know if I want to make movies, but right now I'm on the next level,
I'm
man.
on 2K. 2K
Yeah.
is
That's what's up,
yeah,
man. That's
yeah,
cool. All
yeah.
right. And then your style of music, what kind of music do you like?
Oh, dude, I love everything. Right now I'm super into like I think it's just because I'm not out of that wave of the 80s, but I've been listening to a lot of 80s stuff. Like
Oh, heck yeah, dude.
I was on a big Steely Dan thing. Everyone
Ooh.
just ask everyone who was on the set of Who's Afraid. If you talk to someone else on the set of Who's Afraid, I was walking around with my phone in my pocket the whole time
Ah,
playing Steely
Steely
Dan.
Dan. Everyone's all like, do you have anything else?
Nope, not today.
Not today. Just repeat.
Yeah.
No, he's good. I like Steely Dan.
Yeah, I
Uh,
love Steely Dan.
I'm really
All
big
those.
on the 80s. What other 80s do you like?
Oh, dude, I don't know, man. That was my, for a long time, like, uh, I looked up to just a lot of those like creators, those directors from the 80s.
Okay.
So like all those guys, like I love John Carpenter. I love like, all that the Rat Pack from like the 70s,
Oh yeah.
Scorsese and Coppola, all those guys. Those are obviously like big influences, but I love that counterculture from that era. So John Waters is a huge influence on me. Hairspray, Pink Flamingos, all that stuff. I love gross stuff. I think that's what you're getting the vibe of is like, The Thing, John Waters. I love when I get to see when someone can put something on screen that's gross, but still make it entertaining.
Right.
Love that.
Yeah, man. And yeah, a lot of the 80s movies are pretty good. I like the
Oh,
80s
yeah.
a lot. And the
Oh yeah.
music. Definitely the music.
Oh yeah, man. And especially like just I mean obviously we were talking earlier about David Bowie. I love David Bowie because I share a
Okay.
name with him
That's
in one of his
right.
albums.
Yeah.
But I also, I love that early era of hip hop as well. That early 90s or that late 80s, early 90s era.
90s. Heck yeah, dude.
Love that era of hip hop.
There's there's a place here in El Paso. I'll just say this before we close. And if you really like the 80s and 90s hip hop and all that, it's not mainly just hip hop, it's pop as well. But there's a
Mhm.
place in El Paso called Funk Myers in
Okay.
Raleigh Trevino, and it's just pure 80s and 90s, and that's it.
Nice.
And it's all and they have all these music videos from the 80s and 90s playing with the main
That's
music
cool.
coming out into the room. And
That's another thing I'll say. Even more than films from the 80s and 90s, music videos are my biggest
ah,
influence.
dude,
All my biggest influences are the people who made music videos on MTV in the 90s. So like, I had a film instructor who gave me the DVDs. There's these collection of DVDs by Michel Gondry is one of them. Michel Gondry, Chris Cunningham, and Spike Jonze, and they have these collections of
wow,
music videos that you can get. They're probably worth like hundreds of dollars now. My professor let me borrow them for like a weekend, and I binged them all. And those three directors became my favorites just from those collection of music
that's
videos
cool.
because I love like that era will never get back
No,
because
nope.
they don't give budgets like that anymore. But the creativity that those
They
directors had
truly,
and the kind of visual like spectacle they
yeah,
would create with little, I love that. And that's one of my
I
biggest
agree, man.
influences.
Yeah, I mean,
When
I agree.
when I'm writing, when I'm doing anything, I just have those collections playing next to me and I
There
just
you
let
go.
them play. So,
Yep,
yeah.
I'm the same way. Sometimes when I take road trips, I just let my whole 80s playlist play, and oh man, it's just
Yeah, man.
definitely a great road trip.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Ziggy, for coming on Rhythm and Roads podcast. Well, before we close, do you want to inform the viewers how they can find you on social
Sure.
media?
Yeah, you can find me on all social media at the only Siggy, THEE underscore only underscore SIGI. And yeah, you'll be seeing me. I post all my short films on Instagram and
Okay.
YouTube, and I'm trying to release weekly, like one little, like a reel on Instagram, on TikTok and stuff to just talk about film and to get like my creative energy out because
Yeah,
I have a
dude.
lot of it, and I'm trying to write like three scripts, three feature scripts this year,
Oh,
and
nice. Okay.
sitting down all day and typing drives me crazy. So at some point I need to get up and shoot something, and that's kind of
Yes.
what those help me do. Yeah.
Yeah, man. If you ever want to chat about films, I'm always up for that too. I
Oh
love chatting
yeah,
about
yeah,
films, 80s, all that good stuff.
yeah, man.
I
I'd
look
love
forward
to.
to seeing your film, Who's Afraid, at the Las Cruces International Film Festival, April 11th. So that's going to be exciting to see and meeting you as well, meeting you in person. So,
Yeah, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. I'm excited. Come see some awesome people. There's gonna be a
oh, yeah.
lot of really, really great filmmakers showing some really great films. So
Oh, man. I can't wait to see. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'll be there on the 11th and the 12th. I'll be doing it live interviews as well. So if you want to
nice.
be interviewed, I'll be there
Yeah.
interviewing maybe 5 minutes. Kind of like
Mhm.
they do on, hopefully we're gonna, that's the goal, but hopefully like what they do on the Oscars where they do like a quick, just interview on
Yeah.
the carpet
No,
somewhere.
yeah.
So
I'd love to,
I'll be doing something like that.
especially especially after you see the film. I would love to hear what you think.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah. I like to, we'll do that. We'll work on that afterwards and I'll find you or come find me.
Definitely. I'll look out for you.
Sounds good, dude. Well, thank you again, Ziggy, for coming on Rhythm and Roads. It was great to hear your story on your film. Congratulations on the first acceptance for your film into the Las Cruces
Thank you.
International Film Festival. All right, guys, we'll catch you on the next episode.